Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the East Brandywine Township Board of Supervisors PM meeting for Thursday, December 15th, 2022. Just a reminder that a recording will be used tonight during the meeting, and we're going to open the meeting tonight with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Reminder for public comment for agenda items, rules of conduct for public meetings established by Resolution 2001-08. The time allotted to each individual making a public comment shall be 3 minutes unless otherwise set by the presiding officer. Additional public comment may be granted at the discretion of the presiding officer at the conclusion of the meeting. So I'll go ahead and open it up for public comment. Seeing none, we're going to move on to the minutes of the previous Board of Supervisors, December 1st, 2022 AM session.
I'll make a motion we approve the Board of Meeting minutes for December 1st, 2022 work session.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we all have the treasurer's report ahead of time, and anybody have any questions on that?
I looked at it before.
No. I will make a note that our real estate transfer taxes are going to be significantly below 2021 budget projections. The last 4 months, the change in the housing market has affected us dramatically. So, I mean, like a couple $100,000 under budget.
Okay.
Just so you're aware of that.
All right, so do I have a motion to authorize to pay bills?
I'll make a motion to pay the bills and approve the payroll.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Luke, go ahead with your township manager report.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. On Monday, November 28th, East Brandywine Township officials received a PennDOT-approved detour plan for utility work on Horseshoe Pike, State Highway 322, from our neighbors in Cowan Township. The plan describes a 2-week closure of 322 at a point in Cowan Township near the south end of Old Horseshoe Pike. The plan further designates that Bondsville Road in East Brandywine Township, also a state-owned road, would serve as the detour. The purpose of the road closure was to perform utility work associated with the 400-unit development in Cowan. A date for the start of work was not provided. Cowan Township reported that the developer had notified them that the work may begin in 30 days. On December 2nd, Township staff posted this information to our website and social media. More information became available on December 8th, responding to concerns from this Board of Supervisors, Township staff, residents and business owners. State Representative Friel Otten's office provided an additional update, which we in turn posted on the same social media and the township. It begins with an explanation of the work and why a complete closure is necessary. The exact location of the work is at a point on 322 where the road narrows a bit with a guide rail on either side. PennDOT explained that the developer's work includes a jack and bore operation under an existing culvert that carries a stream across the road. The road requires extensive evacuation to get the line under the culvert, with large open pits on either side of the culvert. The evacuation requires the use of large equipment that will occupy much of the roadway space, which precludes even a single traffic lane to safely get by in a typical work zone pattern. PennDOT considered multiple options and determined that full closure is unfortunately the only feasible solution. No date has been set for the closure. There is still utility work that needs to take place before the sewer line installation can begin, and that preliminary work has not been scheduled yet. While PennDOT has approved the closure and a detour route, they have not determined a start date. PennDOT is considering the impacts on local businesses, school buses, emergency services, residents, and commuters. When the township does happen, PennDOT has committed to working with the developer and the township to ensure that signs indicate that the road is open from Hopewell all the way through East Brandywine Township businesses. That section of the road will be impassable. The section of road that will be impassable is the east-south entrance to the new community. Again, no date has been set for the detour and construction to begin, but it will not happen in December. The detour will not be permitted during winter months. PennDOT will provide as much advance notice as possible once a date is set. I think it goes without saying that no one is enthusiastic about this, but I wanted to provide an update. On a happier note, I'm pleased to announce that Consortium has provided the township with a list of their 2023 winter programs. That information is available both on the township's website and on DARC's website at www.darc.info. Respectfully submitted, Luke Revan.
Thank you. I'll turn, absolutely.
I just want to raise the concern with regard to the detour for 322. I perceive a safety issue on Bondsville Road. From the Hurricane Ida, there was the bank of the creek was eroded. There's a vertical road. There's a vertical wall close to the road with no guardrail there. And I know that PennDOT has been contacted several times by myself and other residents in the community. I just want to be sure that PennDOT is aware of that issue, given that there's going to be an order of magnitude increase in traffic on that road, including regular heavy trucks. I know that trash trucks drive the road now, but the volume of traffic is going to be considerably higher. So I just want to bring that up.
Yeah, and Matt, is Bondsville State?
Yes, it is.
It is a state road. Yeah.
Even more to bring their attention, it's a problem for them twofold.
Right. Okay.
Perfect. So Matt, could you put a letter out to PennDOT on that?
Sure.
And then before you go, Matt, real quick, because we signed a check for Honeywell, where are we with the duct work that we had talked about?
That is in Pannoni's hands right now, so they are doing the design work.
Okay.
Once the design work is done, then Pannoni will create a bid because the total price of the project is over our bidding limits.
Got it. I just wanted to make sure we didn't, that's all.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Shall I read the inspector's report?
Yes, please, sorry.
No problems. This is the building permits administrator's report for November 2022. There were 21 total building permits issued, 3 zoning permits issued. Fees collected for building and zoning permits totaled $10,832.50. There were 13 use and occupancy permits issued, 95 inspections completed, and 0 failed inspections. Total fees collected were $10,832. Respectfully submitted, Noreen King, Permits Administrator.
Matt?
Thank you. This year, we collected a record 77 loads of leaves, which is about 336 tons. Thanks to Derek, Kyle, and Tanner for a job well done. That's our road crew. And look on our website for collection dates for 2023. Last month, Derek Kloss passed the pesticide exam for Pennsylvania certification. Derek is now qualified to spray our parks and other facilities to better control weeds. Congratulations to Derek. Over the past year, we've been receiving numerous complaints, concerns about cut-through traffic from the cul-de-sac on Waring Drive in the Keats Glen development to Butterworth Court in Heatherwind. Even though it's posted, many vehicles and delivery people have used that or abused that emergency access. This week, the road department completed the installation of a gate to block through traffic. It's a swinging gate, so during inclement weather, we're able to open it up. The township vehicle come through and still maintain that. And I will talk to the fire company and the chief of police how it's secured. So our newest road department employee, Tanner Gledhill, has started the process to obtain a CDL license. Last week, Tanner, he took the test, but he did not pass the test for the learner's permit. I think he said he got easy questions wrong, so he'll have to take that test again probably next week, and so he can continue the CDL process, which is not as easy as it used to be. There's a lot more involved in the CDL testing. This year, we chipped at 260 homes. That's about the same number as last year, and then the winter maintenance plan, I'd like to discuss that a little bit later. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll turn it over, Lieutenant.
Evening. During the month of November, East Brandywine Police Department completed a total of 2,153 events, which included 177 investigations and 9 vehicle accidents. These investigations resulted in 3 criminal arrests and 1 warrant arrest. Additionally, EBTPD conducted traffic enforcement, resulting in 83 citations and 48 written warnings. The total patrol mileage for November was 9,963. Everyone in the PD conducted low-light firearms training during the month. And I just wanted to thank the Chester County SWAT team for their assistance at a critical incident in the township during the month of November. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. And Fire Department.
Good evening. Monthly report for the East Brandywine Fire Company. We had 59 total incidents, 36 total fire, 23 total medical. East Brandywine Township, we had 16 fire calls. We had 12 medical. We used 194 gallons of East Brandywine fuel. We had 3 training sessions with a total of 22 members in attendance. We were able this month to place our brand new air packs in service. You may recall we received close to a $300,000 grant to buy new air packs for the station, and we were able to get those in service. Just recently, while it was not in our township, the fire department responded first due to a major fatal house fire in West Brandywine, and also a major accident on 82 and 322 with 2 folks trapped, each one having over 22 members in attendance. If you follow what's going on, I drive this point home to the board and the township all the time. That is phenomenal turnouts for the volunteer fire service. Many companies are struggling to provide 3, 4, and 5 people, and we're averaging over 20 people a call, which is just phenomenal. The new building is up and running. We've seen an increase in membership. Last night we took in 6 new members. The month before we took in an additional 6 new members. So 12 new members in 2 months. Again, just phenomenal numbers. We have outside guest speakers coming in January and February to further train our volunteers. And we wanted to wish everyone a happy holiday from the fire department.
Thank you very much. Okay, Luke, I'll turn it over to you for old business.
Sure. Just as a point of order, do we want to have a motion to adopt the reports?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I move that we adopt the various department
I'll second.
reports.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So I'm going to speak to agenda item 6A, which is Planning Commission's recommendation regarding pet setting businesses as major home occupancies. In March of this year, the township resident, Gina DeMarco, asked the Board of Supervisors to consider amending the township's zoning code to permit pet setting businesses. The board referred the proposal for review to the township's ordinance task force. The township's code defines the keeping, breeding, and/or boarding of more than 4 dogs for commercial purposes as a kennel. Kennels are permitted in all zones when the property meets certain standards such as minimum lot size, setbacks, and on-site facilities. Ms. DeMarco's property does not meet these standards. There are 2 possible approaches to revising our code to accommodate the proposed use. One method would be to create a new use by right in all zones called pet sitting businesses. That use would permit the keeping of 4 to 10 dogs for commercial purposes and requiring lesser minimum standards than those required for kennels. A second method would be to create a new type of major home occupancy, also called pet sitting businesses, which would be allowed in residential zones. Major home occupancies are conditional uses requiring Board of Supervisors consideration of each application. The discretion of the board would be limited. Conditional uses are permitted uses so long as the applicant can meet the explicit criteria in our ordinance for that use. At last week's Planning Commission meeting, a straw poll was taken to gauge which approach, if any, would be preferred. The result of the poll revealed that a majority supported recommending no revisions to our code to the Board of Supervisors. The Planning Commission wishes to be responsive to referrals from the Board of Supervisors and at the same time be respectful of the time and money of residents proposing changes to our land use code. With your permission, the Planning Code would like to communicate to the resident the outcome of this vote.
No. I think it's the, I've attended every meeting so far along with the two gentlemen out there representing the Planning Commission and the Ordinance Task Force. And although it sounds like a good idea, in the long run, it would create a nightmare, I believe, in our township. And since it would be spot zoning to me, and we already provide for kennels, and I hope we can persuade the homeowner it's not a good idea.
We don't need a vote on this. We can just give our authorization for.
Correct. I think, yeah, so my rationale for asking as an agenda item is there are paths that you could go down to put meat on these bones. But I think if we actually went through the processes of developing an ordinance, we could expect that it would not get recommendation from the Planning Commission for the board's vote.
Yeah, I have no problem if the Planning Commission wants to reach out and have that dialogue with her.
Well, I'm curious about who is communicating.
Well, I don't, it's merciful in this instance, I've scripted myself. My last sentence says, with your permission, the Planning Commission would like to direct staff to inform the resident
yeah,
of this
okay.
outcome.
Right, yeah.
If I didn't read that, that's what I wrote.
Right, I was
Okay.
going to say, he's already volunteering.
Yeah, okay,
Understood, yes.
thank you. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to Tom for the approval of the employment contract with Chief Koski.
Have before you a new 3-year contract with the chief. Previously been reviewed by the board, so it's before you this evening for approval. It has been signed by the chief.
Anybody have any questions?
Right.
All right, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Mark Kosey's new 3-year employment contract as chief.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, and then, Tom, you might as well just keep going.
Okay, the next thing is an agreement between Gladwin BH Investments, Bollinger Realty, the municipal authority, and the township, which concerns agreements on land required for application of treated sewer effluent, some issues about tapping fees, and some other matters that are really the jurisdiction, under the jurisdiction of the authority. The agreement, all the responsibilities under the agreement are the authority. There are no responsibilities imposed on the township as an entity. The primary reason the township is a party is because part of the agreement concerns the pending Act 537 plan, which is a township plan. The agreement's been signed by the two developers and also been approved and signed by the municipal authority. So I've asked for a motion to approve that agreement.
I reread the agreement actually last night again. I have no questions on it.
Questions?
So I'll make a motion that we approve the agreement between Gladwin BH Investments and Bollinger Realty and I guess the municipal authority
And the township.
In the township.
and the township. Okay.
I'll
I'll
second.
make that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. All right, Luke, if you want to jump in now?
Yes, thank you. This is, I may defer to the solicitor at various points in this presentation. Included in your packet is a model ordinance revising our land development code recommended to the Board of Supervisors from the Planning Commission. The spirit of the proposed ordinance change has to do with the procedures described in our land development code. The power to regulate land use in Pennsylvania is derived from a piece of enabling legislation known as the Municipalities Planning Code. The Municipalities Planning Code sets many parameters for procedures on how different applications or ordinance changes are processed. Our local code, in some instances, repeated things that exist in the municipalities codes, in the municipalities planning code, and in other instances created new requirements that are not in the municipalities planning code. The ordinance before you seeks to reconcile the municipalities planning code with our local code. The particular author was Tom. The action item this evening, if the board is so inclined, is to authorize staff to forward this model ordinance to the Chester County Planning Commission for Act 247 review. And with that, Tom, did I fairly summarize what this represents?
Summarized it perfectly. I would only add that it's meant also to simplify our ordinance.
I'm good.
And this is just pushing it over to the county for review?
Correct.
Okay.
Part of the process. It's actually, they're actually amendments to the zoning ordinance part.
So right now it's procedural. So I make a motion that we forward the changes of Articles 19 and 20 of the Land Development Code for the 247 review to Chester County.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Matt?
Included in your packet is an updated winter maintenance plan for your adoption. Although it was updated in 2016, the actual last adoption was in 2010. There were only minor changes such as updating the road miles and personnel changes. Other than that, there's really no major changes to the document. So I respectfully request the board accept the winter maintenance plan.
I'm assuming the additional road is just developments added.
Correct.
Thank you.
I already reviewed it.
Is this something we have to approve? Adopt, approve, nurture? All right, I make a motion that we adopt the winter maintenance plan.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, and I'm also working on a 5-year plan, which is hopefully be completed in January or February.
Thank you.
Thank
Is
you.
that the winter plan or the paving plan or?
Paving
Paving,
plan, yeah.
okay.
Capital improvements.
Capital, yeah.
Luke, you want to go into the resolutions 24 of 2022?
Right, so back on your agenda is the draft 2023 annual budget for the township. It's the last meeting of 2022, and it's been our tradition since I've been here to adopt a budget at the final meeting of the Board of Supervisors in each fiscal year. The budget that's before you is similar to that presented to you at your AM meeting and your PM meetings in November. There are changes only to the real estate tax yields.
Caught just before, right.
Correct. And to address Supervisor Croft's earlier references to anticipated tax yields, the assumptions for calculating real estate tax yields would be to take today's assessed valuation So assuming no net growth in property values, applying the millages appropriate to that fund, and then multiplying by an assumed collection rate of 98.5%. So those real estate tax figures are amended from previous budgets, showing updated real estate values. At this time, I'd respectfully ask the Board of Supervisors to adopt Resolution 24 of 2022, adopting a budget for the fiscal year 2023.
May I add also on the revenues, we had adjusted the real estate transfer taxes. If you look, they're down dramatically from prior years, so we don't have, no one can project the total future, but we recognize this. The Budget Committee tried to calculate it and use their best forward-looking thought processes, so we think we have a good number there. So. All right, I'll make a motion to adopt the East Brandywine Township's 2023 township budget.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, public comment on non-agenda items.
Just want to take the opportunity to wish you all a Merry Christmas and healthy and safe New Year.
Thank you.
Jim, can I have you introduce yourself for the minutes?
Jim Buxella,
Santa Claus.
several hats of the township.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on to notices. Did we have an executive session? I can't remember the last meeting.
Yes.
I think we acknowledged that at the end of the last meeting. We were going to have it, but just in case, the last AM session, which was December 1st, 2022.
Correct, and we announced
Yeah.
both personnel and, in a rare one, real estate matters as
Correct.
as the cause of the meeting.
Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.